What a week number 13 we had on our hands. We had some ups, we had some downs, we had some monster explosions out of Jalen Hurts, out of AJ Brown, out of St. Brown. We had an injury to Kenneth Walker. We're going to break all that down. ETN disappointed. Some of you had some mixed bags. I think everybody did. That's pretty much every fantasy week right now in fantasy football. But we're going to break it all down, the good and the bad, talk about week number 14, talk about the Sunday night game that's about to kick off here very shortly. First in the building's David. Buckle up, hit the thumb up button, and subscribe if you're new. Appreciate A-Rock, David, Meet the Woo, Jojo, Noah, Mealy, Nathan, D-Class. File on in. The Fantasy Football Show. It begins right now.
You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. Smitty is live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, good people? File on in, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. We've got a lot to talk about. Please punch that thumb up button, though. We got 150 people already in here. File on in. We got a lot to talk about. There are a lot of duds, a lot of explosions in week number 13. No different than any other week. I had some wins. I had some losses. That's the nature of fantasy football. Let me take ownership of some of the L's. I told some of you to start Jeff Wilson Jr. this week. Not as a running back too, but as we had a lot of flex calls, and it was like, okay, do you go Jeff Wilson Jr.? In my defense, I did change a lot of my tune on Swift this morning, and we fired Swift up all morning long on the Start Bench show. So if you trusted Swift, Congratulations. We actually had a Swift sighting. Swift did very, very well. Did a lot of us proud. So Swift landed. St. Brown absolutely exploded. St. Brown is him. Jalen Hurts was an absolute monster, like we've always known about. We had some bad news though. Kenneth Walker injured. We don't know how bad it is. He was ruled out pretty quickly from the remainder of the contest once he went down. But there's no telling as to how long he's going to be out or what the injury is as of this right now, this moment. An ankle injury, but we don't know if it's anything extremely severe. We're not sure. No one has any real information. But this was an absolute monster blow to anybody that had Kenneth Walker in their lineup. But A.J. Brown, absolute explosion. Hurts, absolute explosion. St. Brown, explosion. CMC did very, very well. That despite being wrong on the running situation, Miami got game scripted out real quick in terms of running the football. Just the nature of it. Yeah, look, Mike White looked pretty good too. Like, he had his struggles. He didn't throw any touchdown passes, but the man delivered, marched his team down the field, looked really strong. Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow. Is this guy not quite possibly like a top, I don't know, 2 or 3 quarterback in the NFL going forward in the future years? This guy's so amazing. He's Joe Cool. He's Joe Cool, and there's a reason we have this button right here. People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Get burrowed.
But the somber stuff, we'll get to it all. There's good and bad. There's bad and good. It's the way that fantasy football works, you know. I couldn't see Walker getting hurt, you know, but I do feel bad. I feel a sense of responsibility, a lot of weight on my shoulders when a guy like Walker doesn't produce, a guy like ETN doesn't produce. These are Moon Men. I can show you the Moon Men list right here.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
Now, we still got a lot of guys doing very, very, very well on this list. Walker did not have a good day. ETN did not have a good day. A.J. Brown exploded. Joe Burrow was phenomenal, and there were several. I think at least 2 touchdowns that were that should have went Joe Burrow's way. Boyd dropped a wide open touchdown pass in the end zone, so that this guy could have had a monster day. Jalen Hurts exploded. St. Brown was an absolute maniac. There's still a lot of goodness going on this screen. It's the nature of making bold calls. The Moon Men was never about picking the most obvious calls. The Moon Men list that we locked in from the beginning of the season was about trying to predict. DJ says fantasy literally takes 0 skill. So dumb. Why? How did you find this place then, DJ? How did you stumble in here? I mean, I am a news show, so I do actually take a compliment to that. I take that as a compliment that you're coming in here when you're not even a fantasy football, I guess, player. But like, what are you talking about, bro? There's a $1 billion industry dedicated to it. But you're still welcome. You're still welcome. I'm not hating on you. You can come on in and get your fantasy football goodness from you, DJ. I appreciate you. But file on in, hit that like button. Let's get to the news. Let's talk about everything that we got going on here for week number 14 based on the week 13 outputs. But we're gonna review some of the injuries and top performers, and then get to the Sunday evening game. Let you guys all get to your game, get to your food, get to your family. So let's get to the news desk.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So let's start off with the positive. One of the positive things, and Jalen Hurts dropping 380 yards passing, 3 TDs, 0 INTs. Looked like an absolute monster. Didn't look like an absolute monster. He was an absolute monster, and he added. I'm sorry, I didn't even include one of his other stat lines. How dare I? His rushing stats. Let me put those on screen real quickly because that's not fair to be talking about Jalen Hurts without his rush. There you go. 3 passing touchdowns, 380 yards throwing the football. What did your boy Smitty say at the beginning of the year? This guy is capable of throwing 300 and 400 yard games more than as much as anybody in the National Football League. And all we heard were bobs, a lot of big mouth bobs in the offseason saying, he can't throw. All he can do is run. He's a gadget quarterback. And basically, Jalen Hurts just isn't accurate. He's inaccurate, Smitty. He can't throw 29 for 39 for 383 TDs, also run for a touchdown. 150 yards the week before. Guy's dynamic. This guy's dynamic. This guy is a top 4 locked and loaded quarterback for 2023 and beyond. And if you own him in Dynasty, get excited. Get excited. This guy absolutely exploded. And his wide receiver who can be hit and miss. Let's admit it. He can be hit and miss, but he was hitting today. A.J. Brown, 8 catches for $119 and 2 tutties with a long of 40 with 10 targets. These two absolutely smashed in week number 13.
Mashed potatoes!
Absolutely love it. These guys were monsters. Absolute monsters. So thank you, Jalen and A.J. Brown, for just exploding, especially being a part of the Moonman list. Let's go to a negative. ETN, 3 carries for 54 yards. Now, 4.2 yards per carry isn't amazing, but it's not bad. It comes down to usage. He didn't look banged up or held back. It was game script. There's a lot involved in this. We can't make excuses because it is what it is. Like when you start seeing games where there are some ups and downs usage wise, or they give him 13 carries and they don't feel the need to give him 20 carries or give him more touches than we would like, there's reason to be panicked. There's reason to be like, okay, well, will this be inconsistent for us? And it might be. I still love Travis Etienne. I still believe he's a top 12 overall potential player going forward, but there is a little risk involved. We have to admit that this offense sometimes cannot use him the way we would. And it doesn't make them right or us right. I believe that you use Etienne the way you used him earlier on during the season, you're going to have a lot more success. Hopefully they figure that out watching film, and maybe they're just being cautious with him, but he didn't do badly. He just wasn't used, and that is a problem. There is a reason for concern. I don't think it's panic chamber material, but it does make you question maybe him being locked into the top 7 or 8 overall if you're drafting today moving forward for week 14 on. But I still have a lot of high hope for that man. Joe Burrow, 286 yards, 2 TDs. This stat line isn't the most amazing stat line in the whole wide world. It should be like 303. Boyd dropped a touchdown. There was another touchdown opportunity that was missed and botched that wasn't Joseph cigar-smoking Burrow's fault. Oh, I forgot his rushing touchdown. Here I am again disrespecting the man known as Joseph cigar-smoking Burrow, who had another touchdown that I'm not putting on screen. Let me go to that game real quick and screen grab that and make sure I'm giving him his proper flowers, because Joseph Burrow was a running maniac in this game. This guy tore his ACL. Anybody remember that? This guy tore his ACL. He's out running like he's a running back at this point. I don't really love that, but I do love when the production's there and he's not injured. But Joseph Burrow had 11 carries for 46 yards and a touchdown, 286 and 2 touchdowns, 3 total tutties. So real good day, but it could have been 4 or 5 TDs. Let's give Joseph Burrow a round of applause. I mean, what a day. This guy is a top 3 NFL quarterback. He just beat Patrick Mahomes again. The Bengals say, you keep talking about Buffalo and Kansas City being in the Super Bowl, people. We are the ones that knock. Joseph cigar-smoking Burrow is the one who knocks. He's Joe Cool, and Jamar Chase is back. Now, Jamar Chase didn't have quite the outing we would have wanted, which, because we're greedy, but he did have 7 receptions for 97 yards. That's not a bad first game back. Anybody that was like, I'm a little nervous about playing him, you can't walk away from this being, I screwed up with my decision. 7 for 97, looked very good. 8 targets, caught 7 of them, and looked very good. Absolutely amazing. So I'm real excited about the Bengals moving forward. Where's that pancake stack? I look. Where is it? Here it is.
The stack above all stacks. It's time to drop the pancake emojis in the live chat.
Drop the pancake emojis in the chat. I have a feeling, young men and women out there in fantasy football land, we're about to see the pancake stack just drop fire from here forward. Joseph Burrow looks so good, so crisp, so on game, on point. And Jamar Chase coming back in. I think these two win leagues single-handed. You got the stack going forward. You're going to have a lot of scoring goodness moving forward. I do believe it will be the best stack moving forward, or at least right there with the Josh Allen and Diggs. It's going to be really close to A.J. Brown and Hurts. These three stacks are phenomenal. I mean, I'm not naming every stack known to man, but these three stacks in particular, I do feel I have a real good feeling about going forward. So get ready for the Joseph Burrow and Jamar Chase pancake stack production that's sure to follow. Okay, this next piece of news here, I don't know if this is the exact stat line. I believe it is because the game was still going on when I clipped this, but 8 catches for 177 and 2 TDs. Let me go to that game real quick and make sure that didn't increase. But what an outing for Davante Adams. We talked about this last week that if some people had an offer where they might, let me put this entire Raiders stat line. By the way, Carr, 2 TDs, 250. He's been pretty consistent. A lot of people will rip on Carr, but fantasy-wise, he tends to deliver because he's throwing 1 and 2 touchdown passes at least on the regular to Davante Adams. So, Carr didn't do too bad if he ended up starting him. We had a lot of people that needed to start him this week due to injuries or due to whatever. But this right here, Raiders stat line, Jacobs, 144 and a touchdown. Absolutely phenomenal. We are still very, very worried about the Cav because it didn't seem to have gotten better with the rest all week long. But let's see what the news looks like walking out of week number 13. Hopefully, we hear his calf's fine and he's not on the injury report come Friday. I can see it now, hopefully. I can see it now that he's no longer on the injury report. We'll go from there. Let's hope that's the case walking into like Thursday, Friday. Davante Adams, 8 for 177 and 2 TDs. This was such an amazing performance. This guy dominated, taking the ball out of defenders' hands, falling into the end zone, just muscling and pile driving his way into the end zone, just manhandling defenders. This guy he's still at least 1 or 2 in the entire National Football League in terms of just pure wide receiver skill set. This guy's, if not the number 1 route runner in the NFL, top 1 or 2, probably 1. And his ability to physically dominate defenders and the space around him is unmatched. Aaron Rodgers raised this guy well. And what a phenomenal player this guy is. The question is going to be heading into Dynasty, where do we rank him? How much leeway do we give him as an older player walking into 1 or 2 more elite years and then question marks? Do we say forget it? Throw youth to the wind when we're building our dynasty rosters? Do we say give me 2 years of Davante Adams and I'll figure it out? I'll manifest and build my dynasty roster in a different way than worrying about getting rid of Davante Adams when he's firing off on all cylinders like he is right now. 8 catches for 177 and 2 TDs. What a day. What a day. Yeah, the Jimmy G, we knew that was going to be a broken foot. There was a horrible angle that showed that thing. It was essentially like this. If this is the way your ankle should be, his ankle was like this and then bent. So it was pretty bad. We'll see what that, we'll get into the Niners stuff in a minute. But Adams, unbelievable day. Just what a beast. Adams to the moon. Just a straight moonshot. This man is unbelievable. Okay, so we've got a couple other pieces of news here. Let me get to. Look at this stat line. Look at DeAndre Swift all morning long. We sat here. Hopefully you were here. We sat here on the Start Bench show, and I said I got a real good feeling. Now I've been wrong today. I want to make sure I'm not like just I get everything right and I ignore what I get wrong. Jeff Wilson Jr. I thought he'd have a good day. Didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. I don't know if he scored a single fantasy point. He might have got you negative points. I'd take a lap on that one. The game was very, very good. The game was exactly what I thought it would be. A shootout to the end. The Niners obviously dominated the very end and kind of piled on the points, but it was a very close battle. If Tua had gotten better and a more on point quicker, This would have been a real close game. It was phenomenal, but my predictions about the run game and the revenge game for Jeff Wilson did not come to fruition, but it was phenomenal. But in the early morning, we jumped on here and we said, manifest it. If you've got Swift, you've got to get him in your roster walking into this game. We felt it in the morning. We felt it this morning. The vibe was good. We said get Swift into your lineup. 14 carries for 62 yards, a touchdown. He added 4 receptions for 49 yards. This is the receiving back. This is the PPR back. This is the third down back. He's now taken over that role. He got 6 targets. He had 4 receptions, 49 yards. Probably the most important stat line for me coming out of this game. It wasn't the yardage. The TD was important, but I wanted the targets to be there. They're growing in number. He's dominating targets in terms of the running backs. 6 targets. That is very important in PPR. So 4 catches, 49 yards, 62 yards, 14 carries, 1 TD. Absolute monster. Danny says stop it. Stop it to who, Danny? Who needs to stop it? Please let me know. Okay, so Swift, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown, 11 receptions, 114, 2 TDs.
Mashed potatoes!
To the moon.
Shot for Amon-Ra, or the man we call Amon-Ra. Amon-Ra. Isn't that what the guy called him last night? Amon-Ra. Danny says, Smitty, take a lap for the revenge game. You take a lap because you already missed me talking about this, so take a lap for being late. That's got to feel bad. You come in to tell me to take a lap. You end up having to take a lap because you weren't paying attention, Danny. You weren't paying attention. Why did they throw more to ETN? We don't know. It's definitely a concern. It's definitely worrisome. Definitely worrisome. But what we're not worried about is Amon-Ra St. Brown. What we're not worried about, I don't think anymore. We're a little bit because we don't want them to revert back to using the Detroit backs, the way that they were. I like the way they're using them now. I don't mind that Jamal's getting some work, but I love that Swift's getting 100 total yards, getting that touchdown shot every game, getting the 4 or 5 receptions. Absolute monster. No problem, Danny. I appreciate you. I took my lap. I took my lap like a man. I admitted. This is it right here. 1 carry for 3 yards. My lap. My scarlet letter. My W that I wear on my chest for the remainder of the show. This was my prediction. This is one of my small predictions that I made that went wrong and went awry. And I apologize. I apologize for that. He was not a number 2 running back play or number 1 running back play. So it's not like I botched you your whole week. But if anybody did ask me Jeff Wilson or flex player here, Jeff Wilson or flex player here, there were a number of occasions where I said no, go with the other name, but there were several occasions I remember telling people to go Jeff Wilson in a very close, what looked and appeared to be a very close 50-50 call at the flex spot. So this was probably my botch of the week if I had to pick a botch of the week. And I was pretty amped up and hyped about it. But, in hindsight and retrospect, I know I was very, very I want to say pumped up for the matchup and just excited for the game in general. So maybe I was letting some of my fandom creep in and be biased for once in a rare occasion. Smitty, I listened to you and I targeted Amon-Ra after some down games. Attaboy, Jake. So you're doing good. Jake to the moon. Jake is living life right now. You were wrong big time on Jeff Wilson. Thank you, Einstein. Appreciate you making it real clear what I just said, Ivan. I already know this because I just said it, Ivan. I just said it. I'm glad you repeated it, but I just said it, Ivan. I've already taken my lap for it, okay? I man up when I'm wrong on something like that, bro. I don't hide from it. I don't just come in here and start patting myself on the back. I missed on it. I'm also telling you that I take responsibility. I don't even need to, but I still do it. I put it on my shoulders because of ETN and Walker this week. I wear that on my shoulders. It's heavy, bro. That burden's heavy, but I do it. Is Jeff Wilson in the panic chamber? I mean, did you really ever spend a boatload of money on him? So is he good for a bench spot or maybe still a consideration in the flex play because they may use him? Maybe, but we don't know if Mostert and him are going to rotate now. I would say put him on the bench until further notice until we know what's what. Tyreek Hill, 146, 1 tutty, 13 targets, 9 receptions. Unbelievable day for Tyreek Hill. I mean, this guy's a monster. crucial catch on a very, very critical play to keep the game in motion. His helmet fell off. Guy just had a kung fu grip on the football. Absolutely love what I saw out of Tyreek Hill. He's just getting better this year. Better and better. Samaje Perine stepping up like a monster. 21 carries for 106.
To the moon.
Perine, we appreciate your support and your ability to fill in like an absolute monster that you are. 327 monsters in here, by the way, and only 95 thumbs up. So please punch that thumb up button if you are watching and your eyeballs work and you're able to hit that thumb up button. I appreciate you. This one right here is from Ian Rappaport. Okay, this guy says Lamar Jackson's knee is not season ending, but we've got to wait and see on this. Look, what did I say the last 2 or 3 games? What did I tell everybody? Pick up Tyler Huntley. Even if you're in a bigger league, pick up Tyler Huntley. If you own Lamar, cuff him to Tyler Huntley. And if you're in Superflex, pick up Tyler Huntley, and you could win your Superflex. This is a win a league move. Win a league move in Superflex to pick up and stash Tyler Huntley. Mike White. What did I say in the Panic Chamber this week? You think I'm blowing smoke? Go rewatch the Panic Chamber during the Lamar Jackson segment. This guy, Tyler Huntley, is going to be near the top of the waiver wire claims, assuming that there isn't some really good news about Lamar coming out. I have a feeling Lamar's missing several weeks. Tyler Huntley's going to single-handedly help people win Superflex leagues. The guy's an absolute monster. I think he was 27 for 32 passing. Tyler Huntley, he did have an INT. He was 27 for 32 passing. That is phenomenal. And everyone talks about his accuracy. And a lot of people say all the time, he's inaccurate. You people that say Tyler Huntley's inaccurate are the same people that said Jalen Hurts was going to be and remain inaccurate. And that he'll never get better because you weren't satisfied after one amazing season out of Jalen Hurts. No, you didn't want to send Jalen Hurts to the moon because you felt like he wasn't accurate. And he disappointed you the year prior, even though he had an amazing year on the ground despite not being able to throw the football to anybody because he didn't have the proper supporting cast. Now he does. The same people that are down on Tyler Huntley are the same people that doubted Jalen Hurts. Look in the mirror. Tyler Huntley, 27 of 32. League winner in Superflex. Absolute league winner. Let's hope there's positive news. Not trying to celebrate injury, and a lot of people think I do that. I'm not. But this guy right here, Lamar Jackson, he runs 150 to 180 times a season. This was very, very predictable to happen. Oh, you can't, Smitty, you can't predict injury. You most certainly can come close. And you can definitely you can play the probability game and be accurate more times than not when you talk about a running look at all the running quarterbacks that are injured. Fields got hurt. Kyler's always banged up. And Lamar got injured. There's always every running quarterback. Josh Allen's been injured. Every quarterback that runs has a higher likelihood of getting injured. It's not rocket science. They're running the football. They're running the football like a running back, taking hits as a quarterback, not always used to taking hits. Josh Allen's a little bit different monster because he's such a big dude. But Lamar Jackson runs 150 to 100 and probably 90 times. And what did I say before the season started? Not getting a contract inked was a bad mistake walking in. Now he's playing bad again. Now he's injured. He has his mom as his agent. He's completely botching this situation for himself. Maybe he still is able to get a really fat contract because look, even if he let's say he went on IR and didn't even play again this year, he still would be a very sought after quarterback. Like I understand that. It's not like he ruined his chances of any kind. But like this guy needs to get an agent. He needs to get an agent. You can't navigate these things without having an agent. Like the agent's going to get you more money to account for the cost of having the agent. I don't know what he thinks he's saving by not having an agent. An agent must be involved. So anyway, Lamar Jackson, I'll update you when we know how injured he is, but if you have Lamar, you should already own Tyler Huntley because we talked about it all week. If you don't, go get him. Go get Tyler Huntley. He's going to be one of the top pickups of the week. This one here is from Adam Schefter. This piece of news: Tua Tagovailoa suffered an ankle injury today. That was coming out of the game. So Tua gets rocked every game. Last week it was his back. I don't know if anybody saw that hit he took. It looked like he broke his back. I was like, oh my God, this guy's going to be out for the season. The way that if you didn't see the injury, YouTube Tua hit back and see if it comes right up. And Tua got rocked last week. Tua got rocked in this one again. He got rocked a couple times. That Niner defense. Let's give the Niner defense the proper standing ovation because the defense is straight fire. Okay. We need to give the Niner defense a round of applause. The Niner defense won this game. They helped support Brock Purdy, who I've been on a lot of the Niner shows calling for to get to start. See what he's got. You know, the Niners are great at drafting very late players. They always do well. Kittle, Elijah Mitchell, the list goes on and on and on. But they're very good at late draft picks. And Brock Purdy is somebody I said was better than Jimmy G when the season started. And so we'll see if that comes to fruition. But I very much think the Niners are in better hands with Brock Purdy. He has better pocket presence. He's got a better arm than Jimmy G. And the Niners are in good hands. They're in better hands with Brock Purdy. Do I think that the Niners can win the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy? He doesn't have the experience to take it through playoff games and tough situations. The Niners can do their very best to shield him, but I think what that will do is end up preventing him from, being able to explore, grow, and make big enough plays. So ultimately, the Niners, I believe, will fall short because of the inexperience of Brock Purdy, and there's only so much you can do trying to shield a guy like that. But at the same time, they're in better hands than they were with Jimmy G. This is what I've been screaming for months now, in terms of Purdy being elevated up. But, I don't know what this means for the offense. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to continue to ball. I think they're going to still spread the ball around in ways that could hurt Debo 1 week, help Ayuk 1 week, hurt Kittle 2 weeks in a row, and ultimately CMC kind of float above everybody and have more consistency. But Tua, we'll keep you updated on Tua, see if he's out next week. We don't really know. We have no real information on that. Kenneth Walker, no update on Kenneth Walker. Let me see if I can refresh Kenneth Walker news, see if anything else is coming in. I don't see anything new. He was ruled out. That's the only information we have. There's a new update here from Pete Carroll. Here we go. Let me put this on screen. This is an update on Kenneth Walker. I have not seen it yet. We're going to read it together for the first time. I'll drop it on screen right here. This is an update on Kenneth Walker. Seahawks coach Pete Carroll said that Kenneth Walker jammed his ankle, and that we'll have to see what that means. Nothing really all that helpful, but at least it's not broken. It's not a high ankle sprain. It's like an ankle jam. I will say that when he injured it, I noticed it. It was on that it was a sweep on the left side, and I thought maybe he was going to get into the end zone, but he got cut off. He ran out of bounds, and you kind of saw him step weird, and then he went like that to the sideline real quick. The camera cut away, and it looked like he was waving or saying he was going to go out or something. The camera cut away, and I'm like, did he just signal himself off the field? And then the next thing we knew it, 2 minutes later, we got a Schefter or a Rappaport tweet. I forget which one. And now we're looking at an ankle injury. But he didn't appear to suffer some kind of painful high ankle sprain. It was a tweak, a jam. Hopefully they'll probably do, MRI. I'm sure they did x-rays already, or they're doing them right now. He'll probably be fine long term, but we don't know if this could make him questionable all week and make him miss a game or something like that. But I don't think it's a high ankle for Kenneth Walker. We'll have to wait and see. Jammed is something more right at the lower part of the ankle. You don't jam your ankle at the top or near the top of the shin. It's not a high ankle sprain by the sounds of it. So that's good news. So I would say if I had to guess right now, I know you guys want me to get in my crystal ball and try and guess. I'd say worst case scenario, he's missing maybe a week. Best case scenario, obviously he's gonna be fine. He might miss some practice, but he'll be good to go. Foster Moreau was evaluated for a concussion, so expect him to be looked at all week long and have a questionable tag until he gets cleared. Jimmy Garoppolo downgraded to out, but we know that now is looking like a fractured ankle. which is awful. Jimmy G to miss the rest of the season, or broken foot. I'm sorry, broken foot. Let me put that out here on screen. But Brock Purdy is definitely looking better than Jimmy G anyway. Prayers up for Jimmy. I have no ill will toward Jimmy. I'm not a hater of Jimmy G. I'm just a realist when it comes to fantasy football production and what helps everybody around him, because I'm about the fantasy football players, not about who's a good player or a good person. Jimmy G sounds like a great guy. Jimmy G is out for the season with a broken foot. And like I said, when you look at the replay on that, there's a still frame where his foot's like this. Okay, so he steps, and then it's like this, and then a player's on his foot, and it bends like that, and his leg's literally supposed to be going this way. So his leg was completely bent that way. So broken foot, he's out for the season. It's Brock Purdy time. And I like Brock Purdy a little bit. I don't know that, like I said, they're winning, a Super Bowl or even, multiple playoff games, but could this team clinch the division still? Yes, the defense is that good. It's that good. Could this team win one game? Mike, I don't hate Jimmy G. I just explained that I didn't. So take a lap. Uncle Slayer says, I love you, Smitty, but you are a Jimmy hater. I'm not a Jimmy hater. I like Jimmy G as a person, and I've said a lot of good things about Jimmy G on the Instagram live stream. Slayer, I hate to do this to you, but take a lap. Big difference between being a realist and saying Jimmy G does not deserve to be in the lineup and being a Jimmy G hater, because I go on record all the time. I even said when Jimmy G was running on the sidelines and not with the team when they wouldn't give him his own playbook, I even said, man, it was kind of sad seeing him run there, seeing Jimmy G. He's such a likable person at the podium. I don't like how he grins when he's throwing interceptions or if somebody goes down like Trey and he's got a big smile on his face, but he does seem like a pretty decent dude, so there's no hate at all. Any Waddle news? As far as Waddle, I don't know that Waddle's severely injured because he was on the sideline walking around, but he did have a leg injury. He did return to the field, so he was back out there again after the injury. But similar to Jamar Chase, similar to a lot of players that have exited the game, come back in, and then miss the next week. You have adrenaline. You have a lot of swelling that hasn't persisted yet. When you sprain an ankle, injure a leg, break a finger, injure an elbow, a shoulder, whatever, and you've got swelling that's going to ensue, if you continue to run on it, then you can still play on it. And then when you stop, that's when the swelling occurs. So sometimes adrenaline and lack of swelling will allow someone to play on an injury that will end up having them sit out the next week. And it isn't always that because you played on it, that's why you're sitting out the next week. A lot of people say, man, they should just took them out. Sometimes it has to do a lot with that swelling hasn't kicked in yet. And then once that swelling's there, it's just not a stable leg that you can't go run on swelling. There's a reason the swelling's there. Your body says, okay, that's enough. I'm going to call it timeout, and we're going to surround this thing with a cast of your own body. So your own body creates a cast around the injured piece of your leg, and that's why you sit out, a lot of the time. So Jaylen Warren appears to be okay. Maybe there's some kind of week that he misses. Let's see, Smitty, take a lap for setting Miss Smitty's up with her medallions. Those medallion steaks. I took a little bite of that steak. It was good. Jaylen Warren. All right, yeah. So we got that. Ron Navy in the building. Ron Navy owes us. Ron Navy and I had a bet. The Eagles defense versus the Pittsburgh defense this week, because I was really confident in the Eagles defensive call, which the Eagles didn't blow them away. The Eagles didn't have the best defensive performance ever, but they're a set it and forget it defense for me. And Ron Navy decided, he called me up and said that deserved a phone call. And so we made a little bet. Ron Navy graciously admitted defeat, all but admitted it on the phone when we were talking on the Zoom call. And he is going to be creating a video that he's going to send in. His punishment was to write Smitty was right on his forehead with a black marker or pen or something like that. A crayon, I don't know what he's going to use. Glow-in-the-dark marker. Not sure what he's got in store for us, but Ron Navy, we will be expecting it. You can use cake frosting if you want, so you can wipe it right off. Whatever you got to do, Ron Navy. If you got an appointment or some kind of meeting or a meeting with the accountant or something like that in the next day, You can get creative with some food products and write it on your forehead if you want. Appreciate you, Ron Navy. Hurts was a monster. Oh man, what a fun day. What a mixed bag though. You know, when Walker and ETN bust on you, it's a pretty downer day in terms of some of the running backs that we talk about all the time. I'm not freaking out about ETN because I can't even make the playoffs now, says Jacob. Well, that's an interesting way to look at it, Jacob, but I do appreciate you. Let's do the phone lines. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into the show and let's take your phone calls and see if we can help you out. Any dilemmas you guys might have walking into week number 14. The phone lines are wide open. Let me see if I got any super chats. I think I handled a few of the ones that I saw already. This one's from Nicholas. Nicholas says, "Sup, Smitty, up 27 points going against Brady tomorrow night. And do I play Evans or Rachaad White? Need to secure the win. Evans or Rachaad White?" Evans is probably safer, but if Leonard Fournette's ruled out, then you go Rachaad White. Let me get these super chats real quick before I answer the phone line. So if you're about to call in, hang tight for me, actually. I'm going to answer the phones in a second. Grab, or I can put you on hold, I guess. Grab what Seattle running back if Walker is out long term. I'll cover that on the ad drop show. So hang tight with me. There were several injuries. And so we got to find out who's even healthy, and we don't know the answer to that yet, but I appreciate your super chat. I'm losing 147 to 142. My opponent has number one left, and guess who my last guy is? Has no one left. No one left. Okay, sorry. No one left, and guess who my last guy is? Johnny T. Can I do it? Yeah, of course you can do it. What do you want? You know, Slayer, you can do this. You got 5 points out of Johnny T. Jonathan Taylor, let's send Jonathan Taylor vibes to the moon.
To the moon.
JT can definitely take care of that for you. That's an easy one. That's light work, bro. That's light work. Okay, I'll get to the phone lines in 1 second. I'm up 33 going against CD and JT. It's up to Pollard or Rachaad White for me, Smitty. Who do you go with? If Leonard Fournette's out, he's still questionable. You go with Rachaad White if Fournette's out. Let me just pull up the ESPN.com real quick and look at some stats while you guys. So we got the night game kicking off here shortly, right? When's that thing start? Let me pull up the schedule. I just want to make sure I don't miss it when that kicks off. I got to turn it on my TV here. $6:20. So okay, so we got like 7 minutes. Okay, so let me get through these super chats in case these are related to this game here. I'm gonna go Tony Pollard. So we don't know. We got to decide now. So I'm sorry. Tony Pollard. I don't know what I was thinking. Tony Pollard. I go Tony Pollard. It's a tough decision. I love Rachaad White, but I go Tony Pollard because you got to decide right now. So appreciate you, Gator, for that. I'm sorry I was brain farting on that Tampa Bay decision. Okay. Ron Navy says, I lost my bet with you, Smitty. I will make good. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate your super chat. Nigel, Jeff Wilson going forward, panic chamber. I already answered that, and I do think to a degree, yeah, but you didn't draft him high. You picked him up. So like there's nothing to really panic on, but is he going on the bench? Yes. Up by 8, play JT or Godwin. I think you got to go JT, right, guys? Can we get a vote on this one? I'm pretty sure everyone's going to say JT, but I want to get a vote. Jimmy G out for the season. How do the Niners players rank? I think it affects everybody a little bit, just because I think they're gonna eat. He did really well, 2 touchdowns. I mean, so like he's performing better than Jimmy G. I just don't know. I don't know what to. I think we need to play it cautious coming out of this game and say, okay, is he going to do this every week? Can he drop 250 and 2? If so, I think Debo will survive. I think IU could play fairly well. I think everybody goes up a little bit from what they were going to score with Jimmy G, but everybody did go down when CMC landed on the Niners roster. So CMC going to the Niners decreased everybody's value, but CMC's, his was decreased a little bit too. But now with the presence of Purdy, I think everybody gets a little baby bump back up into some relevancy. Debo's going to be up and down though. He's not going to have 100 total yards and a touchdown every game, but could he do something like that every other game? Absolutely. This one's here's from Jonathan. Jonathan said, pick Huntley over Mike White on waivers to the Sunday Moon. I don't think I'd drop Mike White because we don't know. Like, I want to say yes, but what if Lamar's out one game? Mike White can help you and service you the whole entire season, bro. So I'd probably say hang on to Mike White. I do look to grab him. I don't know if you can drop your kicker, Jonathan. If your kicker's not all that important to you, drop your kicker, hold Huntley until we hear news, and then you can release Huntley later if you need to get a kicker, or release somebody else, or make a trade. If you can't make a trade, then maybe somebody goes on IR and you can put them on IR, and then you got an open spot. Smitty knows. Slayer, appreciate you, Slayer. Mind my own Texas says currently losing by 10.74. Opponent has only Meyer yet to play. I have Dallas D and Rachaad White still to play. Can you win? Absolutely. I think the Dallas D can can do that alone. It would be tough, but they're a good D. But I think together you're fine. It'll be fun. I'd rather be you. Let me put it that way. Schultz and Rachaad White versus Kamara. I'm down 3 points. Schultz and Rachaad White versus Kamara. I'd probably rather have Schultz and Rachaad White, but I do think Kamara is capable of exploding. That's why he's not somebody you can bench ever, until he completely falls off, and I don't think he has. I think there's risk with him. He's up and down, but nobody should be benching Alvin Kamara. Okay, phone lines are now open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
But if anybody can't afford to drop anybody and you want to pick up Tyler Huntley, consider dropping your kicker unless you've got Tucker or something, because I think at least in that case, you can pick up Huntley and wait and decide what to do. I'd wait for more information, says Uncle Slayer. Dump off passes to running backs in general. I should say Slayer. I think you're answering somebody else's question. I'm trying to answer some of these questions in here. CMC better with Purdy, in my opinion. A lot of dump offs. Okay, that's probably what you guys are talking about. I agree. I think the ball. I think scoring more points with Purdy, and that's what I feel. That's how I feel this is going to play out. Is better in general for everybody, including CMC. Avi, you're up. What's up? You're live.
All right. What a day for St. Brown, Tyreek, and McCaffrey. That's all I got to say. I'm up 21 points with Taysom Hill against Kamara and Chris Olave.
Nice, bro.
Think I'm gonna win?
You're up 21 points with what?
Half PPR. I'm up 21 with Taysom Hill against Olave and Kamara.
Yeah, I think you could win that for sure.
Yeah, if Taysom gets 10, I think I win.
All right, bro. You got this.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
What a day, St. Brown, baby.
Yeah, he looks good. I got to create to the Sun button for St. Brown, Sun God.
Oh, wait, I have one more question. Barkley did good today. I like what I saw, but the Giants use him so bad.
He feels like ETN. So good, but usage is concerning. Game flow is concerning. Time management, ball control. I feel like time of possession is such a worry, and decision making. Like you're at the 9-yard line and you have your first and goal from the 9-yard line, and the Jaguars will call 3 horrible play calls, and you're like, why not just give it to ETN? Twice at least. Give him a shot or throw it to him.
I know.
Throw it to him. He's one of the best pass catchers in the entire National Football League at the running back position. People don't even know that. They can't know that because they don't use him. People are going to say that he's not because they don't know. He is. He came out of college. In my opinion, Rachaad White and ETN are 2 of the best pass-catching running backs to come out of college in a long time. And nobody knows it. Nobody knows it. But you know what? They might. They might with Rachaad White. His game's still to play.
I totally agree.
And hopefully they throw it to him.
Yeah, ETN's a monster and clumsy out of the backfield. He's got it all. He's coming. He'll bounce back.
I hope so. All right, Avi. Later.
Hopefully K9. Hopefully Walker's okay.
Yeah. Well, let's send Walker prayers to the moon.
To the moon.
All right, bro.
Thank you.
Later.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
All right, game's about to kick off. Last call, and then we're gonna head out for at least the evening. I may come back later tonight to answer some questions and such. But last call tonight. One more. Who's the lucky caller? Who's dialing in? Who's gonna get help walking into week number 14 or to finish out and close out week number 13? And if you're still in here, please hit that like button for one. We got 154 thumbs up. Not bad, but if we could get the eyeballs to match the thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. Hit that thumb up button. Subscribe if you're new. I go live every single day. Uncle Slayer. Walker and ETN killed my playoff chances, but it's cool. I'm cool. Crying. Smiling, crying. I know the feeling, bro. You need to do more than one league, though, Jacob. If you're talking about just one league, at least you got other leagues, but you can't play in one league because injury can take you out, in week 4, So you want to make sure you play in a couple leagues. Not because you can't win one league. It's just that it makes it a really depressing fantasy season if you have like injuries or you have just a little bit of string of bad luck. Or in the case of us having Breece Hall, Javonte, Jamar Chase, and St. Brown, and all these guys that have gotten banged up, and you have them all on one roster, you're killing it. You're doing a great job. None of that was predictable. It's not like we missed the boat on anything. Swift would be the one player that felt like we should have seen it coming. Hindsight 2020. Swift might be a case study for me. Inward look at my calls. Like what do I need to do to fend off injury risk a little bit better? And I'm going to attack injury and risk differently in 2023. A little bit better in 2023 with a little bit more caution and a little bit more accountability to previous injury. I think I do a good job at that. I just want to fine tune it even better. I want to come up with a process and a scenario that I can play through to kind of run through like the risk equation. You know what I mean? And figure out what feels more likely than not. Because Swift had a lot of injury risk. The only problem you run in with that and why it's hard to really actually execute something like that is, you look at another player that's really risky that balls out and you're like, or a player comes back from an ACL tear like Cooper Kupp and he's amazing his first year back from his ACL tear. And so, you have to look at a lot of other factors like, was there any setbacks? How quick was he on the field? You look at someone like Godwin. Godwin's not getting going until right now, which is something we talked about in the offseason when people were drafting him as if he was going to play and be ready for week 1 to ball out. It's taken until week number 13 to feel really confident in Godwin, and that's telling, and that's what I think I've incorporated with ACL recovery analysis over the last 2 years is anytime we've ever seen like J.K. Dobbins or Barkley's first year back from ACL, not this year, the year prior, it was evident the writing was on the wall based on all of the past case studies you could look at that if you're not ready and you're forced into the lineup in week 1 with an ACL recovery, you're going to fall flat on your face. JK did, Barkley did, and so we have evidence like that to help us with injuries. I just need to fine-tune some of the other things that have been going on. I need to try and fine-tune how to pinpoint a guy like Swift and make sure we're avoiding risk the best way we can. We try. I think we do a pretty good job. I don't think we could have seen Breece Hall's injury coming, obviously. And I don't. It's not that I don't think. I know we couldn't have seen Javonte's injury coming. Jamar Chase's injury was, freak. That wasn't anything crazy. We'll play it by ear, but this offseason I'm going to attack risk and injury different to hopefully stave off another Swift disaster. But Swift looks good. Swift to the moon right now.
To the moon.
And hopefully he can make us all proud. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. You're the last caller. What can I do for you? This game's kicking off here.
Yeah, Smitty, I called like a couple weeks, probably 2 weeks ago, and I had asked you about a trade for Eckler and Deebo. I would be receiving Eckler and Deebo for Saquon, Pierce, and Pickens. Mm-hmm. And I ended up accepting it that same night that we had talked about it because you say you were leaning a little bit towards the Deebo side. And after I saw that game with Deebo, I just went ahead and just accepted the trade. And I think it worked out pretty good so far because I won 2 games in a row already.
Yeah. I think Deebo looks better with Purdy in there.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, it feels a little bit smoother. Feels like the team can do more. They're not pigeonholed into this, certain way of doing stuff that, can't go outside of this or go outside of that. Like you can play outside the lines now. You got almost a bigger range of playbook that you can utilize. kind of like you could have with Trey. So yeah, I do like what I saw out of Purdy. So exciting. Nice
man, I just want to
trade.
thanks for your input on it.
Yeah, man.
That's what kind of leaned me towards the Debo side too. Not just seeing the game, but you saying that you leaned a little bit more on the Debo side than on the other side.
Yeah, a little bit. That's the Barkley and Debo. Is that right, or is it Eckler and Debo?
Yeah, Eckler and Debo.
Eckler, yeah. I do have a little concerns about Eckler and Barkley, but I have concerns about both of them. So, but I feel like they're both capable of exploding. Eckler feels like, I still feel like Eckler's top 5 for running backs, but like one more, we're always game by game, man. We're all reactionary. But, I would like to have seen more out of it. What did he end up finishing with today? What was his total stat line? Let's pull it up. I got it right here. Box score. I mean, he didn't have the game you wanted. He had 5 catches for 67 yards, no touchdowns receiving, 10 rushes for 35 yards, no rushing touchdowns. So very, very bland afternoon for him. But I mean, everybody's going to have bad games. You can't. I just feel like, in Dynasty, we're going to have a lot of discussion about him in Dynasty. I think he's turning 28 years old walking into 2023. I'm going to be avoiding Eckler at all costs walking into next year, but I think he's good to go for the remainder of this year. Don't be too worried about it. Yeah, and
because I'm trying to win the same league back to back. Because last year I won, I'm trying to go back to back this year.
Yeah. He's fine for the remainder of the year, but I'm gonna avoid him next year. I think injuries very high. It's very likely 20. This is kind of like I said, staving off injury, how to avoid risk. There are very few 28-year-old running backs in today's NFL, and people will cite the past. Oh, look at so and so. He played at 33. I don't want to hear about the past. I'm talking about now. There are very few running backs at 28 years of age that can go out there and do Eckler production. Like, it's different to play football still. That's fine. Linger around the NFL, be a running back too. Cordero Patterson's older. But to be Eckler, to be a top, to see a top 5 running back turn 28 years old, my expectation changes because history, the new history that we have to look at for running backs, it's telling. So we'll dig into all that in the coming weeks and months, man. Appreciate you.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, go get him. You're gonna win this. I can feel it. All right, man. Later.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, guys. I'm out of here for the remainder of the game. I might come back later to do a little Q&A, a little recap of the Sunday evening game. I'm not sure yet. Appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for watching the Sunday morning and afternoon NFL Week 13 recap show. Appreciate all your super chats. Appreciate all your questions. Appreciate your phone calls. Let me see if I have any other pending super chats. I think I got them all. Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you, Lunchbox. Thank you, Slayer. Thank you, Whodat. Thank you, Ron Navy. Thank you, Nigel. Thank you, Earl. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Slayer. Thank you, Minding My Own. And thank you, Kilpatrick, for dropping those super chats. I'll see you all on the flip side. Again, I'm live Monday. If you're new, I'm live Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. I'm live whenever news breaks, and I'm also live Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at midnight. And I'm also live. I need to put that on screen here too. And I'm also live every Sunday morning, one half hour before kickoff. So come and ask me questions. And that's where we talked about Swift all morning long. I'm live that entire half hour. I'm also live after the afternoon games to break down the morning and afternoon games. And then sometimes I go live at midnight Eastern on Sundays to break down everything walking into week number 13 and the Monday night game. I appreciate you all. I'll see you potentially later tonight. People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Get burrowed.